Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my question without notice today is to the Premier. Premier, considering thousands of people marched against the government's hunting in national parks policy just 2 weeks ago, a policy also opposed by national park staff and many hunters, when will the government finally adopt this unscientific, unpopular and dangerous policy?
Can I call the Premier?
Madam Speaker.
Order.
I thank the member for his question and advising that there's been no change to the government's position. Madam Speaker, let me take the opportunity to clear up a few inaccuracies peddled by the Labor Party, the unions and, I regret to say, the Greens. Madam Speaker, firstly, of course, shooting in forests was introduced by those opposite almost a decade ago. Secondly, Madam Speaker, the sort of program in relation to pest eradication we're talking about for New South Wales has operated in Victoria and South Australia successfully and for a number of years, again introduced in the main part by Labor governments. Madam Speaker, the feral pest eradication program will operate in less than 10% of the state's national parks, just 75 of the state's 799 national parks, nature reserves and state conservation areas. And let me be very clear, it will not operate or be permitted in or near metropolitan areas or in any wilderness area or World Heritage Area, including Blue Mountains National Park. Madam Speaker, the Minister for the Environment will have ultimate control over where, when and how volunteer pest management takes place. There will be strict controls, and Madam Speaker, risk assessment is still being conducted, but safety is paramount in its work. The other fact, Madam Speaker, that needs to be considered, and I would have thought the Greens would understand this, is the damage that feral animals do, not just to our national parks, but to the adjoining farmlands. Madam Speaker, these pests damage habitat, they kill native animals, they kill stock, they rob stock of feed, and they damage crops across the state. Madam Speaker, they don't stop when they get to boundaries. They go out of national parks into farmland.
Member for Toongabbie, Member for Canterbury.
The Lannisters and the Starks over there still long for the Seven Kingdoms, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, the one to watch, of course, is Prince Joffrey, the member for Kira. Madam Speaker, they of course don't respect boundaries. They go out and they both destroy habitat within national parks, but they also destroy stock within properties in New South Wales, costing farmers across the state $70 million a year. Madam Speaker, I've been perfectly upfront as to why this is happening. We made a commitment to the electorate that we would build the infrastructure that they required after 16 years of neglect by those opposite. And Madam Speaker, the people who use our national parks also want us to get on with the job of building infrastructure for public transport, for health services, for education and for law and order. And Madam Speaker, as I've said before, the population, the voters of New South Wales did not deliver us a majority in the other House, but people expect us to get on with the job, get on with the program we're elected to offer. So, Madam Speaker, we need it, as the Treasurer has indicated, to unlock the asset value, in this case the state's generators, to release additional billions of dollars for the sorts of economic infrastructure this state needs, not only to reduce funding to maintenance, but also to create those additional jobs. And I was upfront about that from day one. Madam Speaker, following allegations about inappropriate behaviour by the Game Council employees, an independent review was announced into the governance of the Game Council in February. It's to be conducted by Steve Dunn, a former Chief Executive of the New South Wales Maritime Authority and a former Director General of New South Wales Fisheries. I also announced at the time that in light of the proposed role the Game Council will play in the implementation of the Supplementary Pest Control Program in national parks, that it wouldn't commence until the review had been completed and the government had responded. I'd like to inform the House that I understand that Mr Dunn has requested a 2-week extension. If additional time is required to ensure robust and proper consideration of the issues, I'm happy to grant that request. I'd anticipate a government response as soon as practically after the Dunn report has been presented.
Thank you. Call the member for Pittwater.
My question is,